The difference between Democrat men and Republican men is resounding. I'm about to break it down for you step by step. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, if you have not done so already, please subscribe, share, and comment. That would be really, really appreciated. Now, let's get right into this. Something happened in this country about 30 years ago. We started seeing a downward spiral, specifically in the way that men were conducting their lives. Masculinity was pretty much just falling apart. Every year, every decade, you started to see that weaker men were being built, softer men were being built, and that strong, determined, resilient man, I like to basically call that type of man a warrior. We lost that. And nowadays, very, very hard to find. So masculinity is almost to the point where when you speak about it, the next word that comes out of people's mouth is what? Toxic. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. Are you kidding me? Come on. Somebody made that up one day and it stuck. And the reality is this, I want to talk about this because we need men to step up and be providers, protectors, just stronger across all facets of life. And it's not about hate. It's really an honest observation here that, what I'm seeing over my last 50 years, I'm seeing this downward fall. Now, I will say this, there is some type of optimism. I see a lot of men that are jumping into the, manosphere or the red pill segment. Unfortunately, a lot of those dudes are soft as fuck. They never done anything. As long as we're trying to lead in the right direction with good principles, good values, and really bring back that masculine ideal, I'm all for it. So, two types of men exist in this country. You have the weak, liberal Democrat men, and I hate to say it that way, but it's true. And you have the stronger, more resilient Republican conservative man. Now, those are two extremes on both sides. The truth is somewhere in the middle. So if you go back in time and you should really start thinking, toxic masculinity came about around 10 years ago. When people started talking about that, you started really focusing in on the people that were actually bringing it to the forefront. And of course, it was a left-leaning media. It was left-leaning Democrats. We started also seeing a shift across the board. Boys being raised without father figures. And when you really look and you look at the statistics, and I don't want to bore you with all these statistics, but you have ChatGPT, plenty of AI, plenty of Google, all that good stuff. You can research it and you can come up with your own numbers. Most of the households where they were fatherless were liberal households. A lot of them from the low socioeconomic class. Just their mindset was weak. They were leeching off the government, marrying, the wrong person really quick. And the next thing you know, they're without a father. And this is how it all started. From there, it became a very difficult way to raise kids. With all respect to moms, it's tough, man. Single moms who are raising kids, it's tough. It's tough. And then you have liberal moms, right, that are raising their kids, without fathers, and they're preventing them from aggression, from competition, and really they're taking away their protective instincts. That's not something that we should applaud in this country. When you start taking that away from young men, they start being what? Emasculated, effeminate. They start losing their sense of being a man. And this is where the generation now sits at. Soft men playing video games all day. I hate to say it, but wearing pajamas in the airplanes with flip-flops, even in college grounds, walking around with pajamas and sweatpants. Where have we lost? Where have we lost as a society? Well, we've lost everything. The protector, the security, the resiliency, the drive, the builder in a man. right? I mean, a man is supposed to build empires. He uses his hands, he uses his mind, his vision. I mean, men have been leaders for thousands and thousands of years. But now we want to replace that with women. Many of them liberal. Many of them should not be in the positions that they are. Just go to any government office and you'll start seeing what DEI hires are all about. People that should not be working in those positions. Let's start breaking down the liberal man, and who is he? Who really is the identity or the archetype of a liberal man? First thing that comes to mind is he leads with feelings, not facts or action, but with feelings. And that's a big thing. When you start leading with feelings, you're leading in a direction where you have no control. And an uncontrollable, high emotional man is deadly. And I've always said this. Most of our shootings that happen in different campuses and these active shooter scenarios, these are unhinged people who were not able or capable of controlling their emotions. And as you can see, most of them are liberal-leaning people. That's the bottom line. These are facts, not bullshit. They're facts. You see a lot of times where these men now, these liberal men, feel very comfortable with letting their wives, their woman, their girlfriends, their fiance, letting them make decisions. It's their call. And the reason that they do that, it's because they live under the world of equality. Everything is equality, everything across the board. Marriage, friendships, work, everything's in equal footing. God forbid that there's someone at a higher level. No, they want to bring them down to their level. It's also embarrassing when you ask a man, are you the man of the house? And the man feels guilty saying that. And I have to believe that there are so many liberals out there that want to be a stronger masculine man and lead their house and lead. It's an instinct, innate instinct within a man, but they feel embarrassed. They feel maybe like their, liberal partner will make fun of them, will bring them down, or maybe even, divorce them. And they're scared of that. And they're scared of being the man of the house. They want no part of it. And in the end, they're really, these type of men are more concerned with being liked by people within their own mindset rather than being respected. And also a liberal soft man, what is he going to do? He's going to apologize constantly, for his opinions, for his presence sometimes, for being a man. Who knows? I've seen it all. We've had to wake up some young men here and say, hey, wake the fuck up. You're a man. You should not be apologizing about everything. Under dire situations, under stressful situations, they will not rise at all. They will not rise to protect their partner. They will not rise at all. Instead, they will go into a world of darkness. They will go into a world where they'll crumble like a cookie, and they won't step up. They won't step up for anything. Gentlemen, if you're looking for a place to grow, a place to really push yourself beyond your self-imposed limits, to build resiliency, a stronger mindset, to connect with high-level men who are pushing, walking the warrior's path, living by the code, really, of the warrior. If you're looking to live that type of lifestyle, that is really going to amp up your business, your relationship with your wife, your leadership with your kids, and of course, give you an opportunity to really raise your level to the next level, I'm going to ask you to go to menofwarcrucible.com. That's menofwarcrucible.com. This program now has been around nearly 10 years. This program is considered one of the most difficult programs in the personal development space, but if you're capable of graduating, you're going to enter the Men of War Society, which is one of the most powerful brotherhoods of warrior men in the planet. Submit an application today, and I'll see you inside the boiling grounds of the Crucible. And if you go back historically, you could see that Democrat men in general, historically, are very, very soft. Very soft. Mentally, extremely soft. And ideologically, very, very soft. And they believe in things that don't even make sense to the real conservative man. And it's sad. But this is a state that we are in because it's no longer now just different views. No, now it's literally different archetypes. And I argue that these archetypes are vastly different, where they cannot anymore live under the same world. Like it's civil war stuff here. Now let's talk about a conservative man. Okay, the differences here. Typically, a conservative man is a protector of his family. He has a sense of duty, a sense of service, a sense of community. Most of the time, he's not asking permission, to do the right thing. He's just going out there and doing the right thing. When you go back historically, the men who have contributed the most, especially to charity, and given the most assistance when we have gone into, bad times like hurricanes and we've had natural disasters, you see that these men who are stepping up, all of them are conservative. 99.9999%, because they are protectors. They believe in something. And while you have the Democrats and the soft men sitting on the sidelines, never taking action, you have these conservative men with great values, I don't have to tell you, with tremendous values that are so strong. They're God-fearing men. The fact that I'm even having this video here is just, it bothers me to think that I have to argue for conservative ideals and principles and foundations. But with that said, they provide financially, emotionally. Typically, they're not looking for a bullshit trophy. And a conservative man usually knows very well in his heart the difference between being kind and weak. They're very different. Very different. Most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, conservative men are in better physical condition. They take care of themselves. They have this instinct where they're somewhat battle ready. They're prepared. They defend their honor, their family's honor. And more importantly, when you look at relationships, unlike Democrats and liberal men, who their wives are the bosses in their relationships, typically a conservative man, their woman is going to be submissive to him. You're the boss. You're the guide. She may be a rock in your family. She may be the rock in your life, but she knows her place as a woman, and that is highly important. So, and it's a beautiful thing, and she accepts it, and she supports him. I believe so deeply in fatherhood and being a husband and being a good leader that it just, to me, it resonates at the highest levels. And when you compare now fathers, obviously liberal men, weak fathers, teaching their kids weak stuff or not being home at all, being divorced, being away. More conservative fathers, they're leading the way, exhibiting by great actions, showing them leadership skills, being there for their kids, leading the way properly, building good, resilient young men. So it's not just the difference in the way that they think politically, it's ideologically, they're very different beasts. And we are there now. We are there. So, with that said, we have to think about several things. How are we going to take this country? Are we going to just let liberal men squash the country, bring communism into this country, make it a socialist country? Or are we going to start building back with power, dignity, respect, honor? That's a choice we have to make. All right, guys, so step up in your home and be the best version of yourself. Lead from the front. Be a stronger father, husband, leader, visionary, and man of action. That's what it's about. May God bless you, and I'll talk to you guys soon.